Hello everyone, I'm Nick from nextdevnick.com and today we're going to talk a little bit about Deep Sky Derelicts. So, it's an interesting one, this one. It's been out quite a long time, but I've never really gotten a chance to play it, and with some new DLC out now for it, there's a couple of DLC packs, I thought why not jump in, have a bit of a go, see how I get on. Full disclosure, I did receive a copy of this game, so thank you very much to the developers for that. So what is the game? Basically, you pick your motley crew, call them whatever you want them to be, so you can sort of do a load of random names or make your own. Then you make your classes, they all have different abilities, different things they can do in combat. It's like a card-based combat system. But you make your characters, make your little crew, and then you basically set off. Each crew member has different stats, so there's like weaponry, tech, medical, scavenging, and they all impact things around the world in a certain way, but they also change the gear you can have, they change interactions you can have as well with the environment, that kind of thing. So what you're basically doing is you're looking for this treasure trove of information. It's apparently kind of on a mythological kind of standpoint. A lot of people don't believe in it, but what your job is you're told by the sub-governor to go to small areas, basically find out more from these derelicts that are floating in space. More gets added to the map as time goes on. And then what you do is you go through these areas, going through like a map screen on your PDA, finding different points of interest, finding other characters to interact with, getting into fights, finding objects you can sell, that kind of thing. It's a fun premise and I like it, but at the same time I thought the energy system was a bit too much. So on the right there you can see that 750 counting down, that number there. Every move that you'd make takes EP, so like energy points. I think it's energy points, but every move you make takes a bit of that. That includes like attacks, moving through corridors, doing scans, things like that. Which is all well and good in theory, but in practice it means sometimes you can find that you're in the middle of nowhere with very little energy. So it kind of makes you run back to get away from the ship before your energy runs out. It's cool in a way, but I'd rather it be that I'm restricted in regard to my health. Maybe I'm fighting against a lot of different enemies. Maybe I'm dealing with a lot of random encounters that's knocking my health down. Rather than kind of saying, okay, my guys are fine, my characters are okay, I want to explore some more, but running low on energy, so time to leave. I thought that held me back a little bit. Combat itself is kind of fun, but it also uses energy. What basically happens is it utilises this card system. Each character has different cards based on their equipment and their abilities, and then you can cycle them out and attack enemies to do different results. So for example, you've got your shields and your health, but what you'll do is you'll use certain attacks to replenish your shields, you'll use certain attacks to damage enemies or damage their surroundings, add status ailments, those kind of things really. It's got a really nice art style when it comes to this. I really like the comic book cutout kind of style that happens here, but at the same time, combat can kind of feel weighted against you at times. Sometimes you go in and you have a fair fight, but other times it feels like enemies get sort of saving throws against you, they get multiple attacks. Sometimes you'll come up against enemies who seem far too strong. You can run away and you can see them on the map as these red dots, so you can kind of pace yourself in regard to whether or not you're going to get in combat or not, but at the same time it's not always clear and it's not always easy, so it can kind of end up leading to you wiping a bit too easily for my liking. There's a lot of stuff left up to the random number generator here. So there's finding items, there's quests, there's all those different things going on. You can pick your different responses and your different interactions and choose how you deal with things. But at the same time, there's a lot of random number generation here in regard to how things are handled, and it sometimes feels like it's out of your control. I mean, here for example, Tarak has given me this task to fix this cannon, and I've also had this task to shoot someone out of a cannon. I'm not sure why, maybe it's my fault, maybe I misread something here, but when I actually did that mission, the cannon just exploded, and Tarak was annoyed that the cannon exploded and the person in the cannon died, and that was that. And it just felt like using that energy and going backwards and forwards and constantly maintaining those different levels and watching for enemies on top of that, just to have a mission kind of fail. Yeah, I didn't really appreciate that. Likewise with stuff like this, you don't really have much of a connection with characters, they don't seem to come back or have any interaction with you, there's not really a karma system or anything like that. So there's no real reason to kind of barter with characters if you can just beat them and take their stuff. I mean, I tend to play games in very much a sort of Paragon or Renegade way, I always go for the Paragon. But at the same time, if there's no reward for that, and I know that sounds very, well, you know, altruistic, but if there's no reward for helping people, there's no extra reason to help people, and you're actually going to be a hindrance for doing it, I don't see the point really. I mean, energy is quite rare, for example, when it comes to like your reserves. You have to like sell items to fix it or go to certain characters to replenish it. And you can also sell objects and things like that to get more money that you can use for that, but the money is very, very scarce. And at first you're not using energy for travel, but later on you do, and it's just a bit, I don't know, it's okay. I just feel like it's too much going on, if you know what I mean. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more leniency towards the player. You're not really given much in regard to saving throws. I mean, you can upgrade stuff like your energy cost so it doesn't go down as quickly. You can upgrade your characters so they have a bit more of an edge. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like, you know, oh, you've got 4 new items, that sounds good, but you're going to have to scrap 3 of them for enough energy to get away again. You know, you can't just teleport to a ship, for example, when you're on the Derelicts. You have to make your way back to where you were dropped off, or find a new point where you can leave from. Weapons can be upgraded, systems can be changed, and you can find new objects like weapons and stuff you can put on. You can also add like attachments and things to like shields and tools to make your abilities better, like I say, but it always feels like the odds are kind of stacked against you. Likewise, there's a levelling system here where you've got multiple choices in regard to how your character grows, but it doesn't always feel like they're very rewarding. It's a shame because I really like the game in regard to the premise. I like this idea of travelling through space in this kind of clunky way, you know, things falling apart and scavenging, and it's very Borderlands-esque. It feels quite Darkest Dungeon in a way as well, but at the same time I'd like to see more in regard to random encounters. I mean, I went through ships sometimes and there was maybe one, and you'd be travelling for a long time, you wouldn't see very much, then you'd go back to the base, you would have barely enough money to sort of replenish and heal people, then you go back again and then you just restart the process. It's a cool game, but I feel like there's more than can be done really. I think there should be maybe a couple of different changes here, maybe some alternatives to things going on, just maybe a few more encounters, because that random encounter, those fun little things that happen, are the reason I play games for this. But other than that, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you again very, very soon.